It can be a difficult space to be in when God's giving you such a heavy responsibility. So every time there's an inconvenience in your family or inconvenience around you or God is shaking things, you start to feel like, oh my gosh, like what is going on? You're trying to keep your faith as much as you possibly can, but at the same time, you're like, when is enough going to be enough? Not even knowing God has placed something so big in your hands that's going to impact everybody that's connected to you. And the more you sleep on yourself, the more you are in fear, the more that you allow perversion to come in between your opportunities because of subconscious programming from growing up, the more that you allow these things to slow you down, to delay you, you delaying everybody that's connected to your purpose in God's plan. That doesn't mean to go into overthinking or overdrive or break your back in order for it to happen. It doesn't even require all that. It really just requires obedience. And God's been calling you to work on that thing for a minute now, but you keep talking yourself out of it, especially because of worldly things like a roof and food and bills. The money's never been there fully. You've had ups and downs of having money and not having it, but the bills always got paid. Food always was in your mouth. That's one thing you're not going to do is miss a meal. Even if it's not the best one, you're going to eat something. All hell's breaking loose. All around you and in the world. God is shaking things to place us in our proper positions. The last will be first and the first shall be last. We've been last for a minute now. That's why you keep trying to place yourself at the bottom while God keeps calling you to the top. And you keep saying, I'm not supposed to be first. This doesn't feel right. I haven't been in this position for a while. Even though it's felt like I have been. It's felt like I've been so responsible for things my whole life. It's felt like such a heavy burden. I don't want to be first. But you weren't standing in your position correctly. And God had to take you through training so that you'll know how to take up your mat and stand confident. You'll have boundaries and standards and know what God is saying to you and how to stand in that and not compromise to appease anybody. So this breaking is so that you won't be a people pleaser. So that you won't overcompensate. So that you'll honor yourself. And you won't place yourself in harm's way willingly, because there's some things that you don't see. And that's why God is warning you. That's why he's telling you to leave. That's why he's telling you to pack your things. That's why he's telling you be quiet, because he knows, but you don't. And if you were to have full revelation right now, you might crash out. God knows that. So take heed to where he's calling you. Take heed to what he's saying. And what God had to speak to me is we're so busy trying to ask him, well, where's the specific location? How am I going to solve this problem? What is that big thing that you're calling me to? What am I going to be able to bless my family with? We be so busy focused on that we're not even focused on the instruction that he's given us to take us there. If you're not even grounded in that, if you're not even focused on that, if you're not even working on that thing, why would he reveal to you what to go buy, what to go get, how to fix everybody's problems? Why would he reveal to you that? You haven't even done the first thing. You haven't even touched the money yet. Write down your desires. Make the vision plain. I will wish to do this for my family. This is what is in my heart. Yada, yada, yada. And declare and decree God's going to do it for you. But take the first step. Don't try to skip to the third one. And then a lot of the times with survival mode, what takes place is everything's going decent, surviving, not thriving at all, going with emotions. You're talking to God. You're coming up with plans. You're trying to be better because you really desire deep in your heart to be. But you're fighting a system. And so that's taking place. And then the shaking comes. Now this family member got this problem. They're calling you about it. This family member got this problem. You're seeing this breakdown and you're just like, Lord, what am I supposed to be doing? How can I fix this? And it can take you to a place of chaos and stress and being overwhelmed when it's like, listen, God always has handled the shaking. He's shaking it for a reason, and he has a solution to what he's shaking. He has a solution to what is taking place. That's not my job. It's not your job. God said, what is worrying going to add to your life? Absolutely nothing. And why are you worried anyway if you're saying you have faith? I get it. There's going to be concern there. There's going to be questions there because what's happening, Lord? I need you to let me in. I need to know because that's a lot. And you have emotions too. So I'm not saying don't be unemotional. You can be emotional, but take the emotions of God and sift through them correctly so that you know, all right, I'm tripping out. God has placed something on my life. He keep calling me to it, and I'm fearful. I'm complacent. I'm being too lackadaisical about it. I'm questioning myself too much. I'm being too hard on myself, thinking I'm supposed to be perfect in it when God never called me perfect. Every time he called me, I was on the floor. Okay, every time he called me, I was somewhere I wasn't supposed to be. Every time he called me, my language wasn't even right. So it was never about perfection. It was about me holding myself to an unrealistic expectation because I thought that's what it required. I didn't want nobody to judge me. God got something in your hands. There is something he keep calling you to, but you keep talking yourself out of it and taking your time and going back to what you know. Listen, not all of us supposed to be working a job. And for the ones that are working a job that God has you at a job and you're supposed to be there, then there's something you need to learn. It's something that he's trying to teach you about people, about organization, about management. So take heed to the lessons and don't just get caught up in the drama or get caught up in the distractions because it's going to be difficult. There's something in you that people can see shining through the outside of you because that's how bright it is. So of course they're going to give you a hard time. That's just what it is. Get out your feelings about it. We be in our feelings too much about things like, why are people like this in the world? It is crazy because first of all, there should never be a point in your life, like, people shouldn't be acting like that. It's very sadistic, but you have to understand that demons attach themselves to what you've gone through on a trauma level. So it's a legion of demons working through people, and that's just what it is. Don't mean they're not God's children, just mean they've accepted the wrong things. They're at the tail end when they're supposed to be the head, and they're in control of everything that's in control of them currently, because they've agreed. But we got to get out our feelings about that and how that impacted us, because that's just a part of this. And once we become more aware of what comes with this journey, of what's in this world, of what's taking place and our power, our position, and who we come from, we won't be in our feelings so much about it. It'd be like, listen, this is how it go. But what I can't keep doing is letting it get in my way. Because what's in me is attached to blessing so many people that I pray for, that I'm concerned for, that when things happen in their life, it bothers me. It's not bothering me for no reason because there's some things that don't bother me at all because I'm not assigned to them people. Okay? God not calling you for no reason. Take up your mat and walk, and most of the things that he's going to call you to speak about and teach will be things that you experienced that brought you much pain. So let go of shame, walk away from yesterday, and open your mouth and speak. Ask God to lead you, because sometimes you can be trauma bonded and just spewing projection and things. Sift through it and also hold yourself accountable so that a lesson can come from it and not just projection. And I'm going to leave it at that. It's something in you. Be wise in this hour so that you do not accept continuous delay in your life, because God wants to bless you and everybody around you. And forgive, because he want to bless them too, so that they can change their life and their ways.